Here we go with yet another fake narrative from the fake media. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about WNBA basketball star Brittney Griner being detained over in Russia due to being caught with vape cartridges with hash oil in them at an airport security checkpoint over there in the Russian Federation. Now, there are so many fake, ridiculous, and outlandish things being said about this story that we got to get down to the bottom of it so I can tell you what's really happening from my point of view and also from what I'm able to read on the news from all over the world. Now, first things first, there's video of the incident. I don't have sound, so I'll play that in the background as I'm talking. But basically what you see here is a big 6'8" Brittney Griner from the Phoenix Mercury. She's going through the airport, and I'm not really sure what sparked the search of her bag, but the bag gets searched, and they eventually find the vape cartridges with the hash oil in it. So now she's detained and could face 10 years in the penitentiary over there. Now, here's a question. What is hash oil? If you don't know, it's like a form of weed. Now, I know the well-actuallys and the weed heads might say something different. Oh, it's not really. It comes from weed. Put it to you like that. So in the eyes of the law, I would presume in Russia, it's weed. So if you're having weed in your bag, that's probably not legal. Okay. Now, some are going to say, well, it should be legal. It's legal in California. Well, okay. You can smoke crack in California and get away with it, but can you just bring crack on the airplane anywhere in the world? Okay. If you come from Russia to America with crack cocaine in your bag, is that going to be just fine? Like, okay, you got your crack in your bag, just go about your business, no problem. If you have weed in your bag in the airport in America, will that be okay? I'm not quite sure about that. I'm not sure how that's going to go. But definitely over in other parts of the world, you can't just do that, okay? Drugs are not just so easily permitted to go from point A to point B in other parts of the world, okay? I saw the same thing happen to Future, the rapper, his DJ Esco, some years back. He came from Amsterdam to Dubai with weed in his bag. He said he forgot it was there. He didn't really know. And it was funny because he said they came out with magnifying glasses to see if it was brown or if it was green. Like, it was crazy. But he was in jail over there, locked up in their penitentiary for 2 months. I mean, he's talking to the U.S. Embassy. They're like, man, we don't know what to tell you. Sorry. You can't just do whatever you want to do, wherever you want to do it. And unfortunately, Brittney Griner is realizing that in real time. Now, there's more here. I'm surprised that it's not an LGBT story because clearly she's LGBT, is married to a woman. Obviously, it's WNBA 6'8". I mean, it is what it is. That has kind of gotten pushed to the background because why? Oh, we got a war going on, so now we got to push wartime propaganda. I've heard of her get labeled as a political prisoner. I'm like, a political prisoner? Is she Muhammad Ali, Rosa Parks? What are we talking about? Okay, you're a basketball player in Russia playing basketball. We'll talk about that in a minute. You're playing basketball over there. You get caught with weed in your bag and you get locked up. The same as anybody else would. How is that a political prisoner? Oh, because it's happening right now during the whole Ukraine kerfuffle. And I heard allegedly the arrest happened in February, but it's coming out right now to the public, and it's a really big story. I wonder why. I mean, the Ukraine thing is there. I read New York Times about this, and within the first few sentences, Ukraine gets mentioned. It's like, what's that got to do with it? I mean, just because there's a war going on between Russia and Ukraine does not mean Russia just stops enforcing law in its own country. If it's illegal to bring weed on the airplane, it is what it is. You're not going to say, oh, no, we got a war going on. Bring all the drugs and guns and whatnot to Russia that you want to. We're not going to arrest you. That's just silly. Okay, but we'll go ahead and digress. The whole point is that it's illegal. She got arrested. It is what it is. Now, the next question is, why was she in Russia? What's going on with the Russian Federation? Why not just be in America? It's not safe over there. Vladimir Putin is a criminal. He'll kill you. Well, the truth is that WNBA basketball players have to go overseas because they don't get paid that much here. Okay, now here's an example. Brittney Griner makes a supermax, meaning the maximum allowable in her situation, contract of $250 a year. Now, is that $2? No. $2 million? No. You're talking like $200,000. That's not a lot of money for a basketball player. We're talking about pro basketball. It's a lot for a regular person, of course. 200 grand is 200 grand. But for, like, if you're comparing it to the NBA, obviously it's not that much. Some of the big guys in the NBA, Kyrie Irving, LeBron, you're talking about 20, 30 million a year. But, you know, and then some are going to point to that as a gender pay gap. But is it a gender pay gap, or is it something else going on? Is it because the NBA has a massive audience around the world? Everybody loves it, not everybody, but has a really big audience. They make a lot of money. They can draw people to the games. They play more games. I think the NBA plays like 82 games regular season. WNBA is like 30 games, some kind of small number. But regardless, people want to see the NBA. It's a big draw. You want to see the highlight, the dunks, the crossovers. You want to see all that from the NBA. But the WNBA, nobody watches that. Your granddad might watch it. It might be a few girl basketball players that watch it. But for the most part, ain't nobody watching the WNBA. Okay? It does not make money. The only reason why it exists is because of the NBA subsidizing it. They created that back like 20 years ago. The NBA did, as a way for former college basketball players to play if they're women. And Diane Taurasi, people like that, so they can go out there and play professional basketball. But really, it's a failed sport and should end in America. But see, a lot of these women, they go overseas in the off season and play more because you can make more overseas. Going back to Diane Taurasi, one of the best WNBA players, one of the best women players of all time, she makes like 1.5 million over in Russia, if I'm not mistaken, a year, 1.5 million a year. She cannot make that kind of money in America because the market is not as big for it as it is over in Russia. You coming from America and you one of the top basketball players, that's like a step up for them. You see what I'm saying? So you're able to get paid more there because there's a higher demand for you there than it is over here. So that's why Brittney Griner was in Russia. That's why any basketball player would be in Russia. Matter of fact, I think there was a story on Vice News about Brittney Griner years ago, being in Russia on a cold train, just snow everywhere, getting that money, like way off Siberia somewhere. I don't know where she was at, but the money is better over there than it is over here. So then the whole thing about racism coming in, where's the racism at? So you can make more money over there playing basketball than you can over here in the States. But Putin is a bad guy. Joe Biden is fine, and stay in America because Joe Biden and Putin. I just don't understand how that makes any sense. Okay, race is not even important here. The most important thing when you're talking about playing basketball, if you're a professional or if you are a professional team, is money. Okay, if I hire you for X amount of dollars, how much can I make off of that money? If I go to play for this team, how much can I make? That is what matters. Not the race is totally irrelevant. So yeah, they go to Russia all the time. They go to Russia, Italy, China. They go all over the world to play basketball. And the men too. They go to Russia. They go to Europe. They go Asia, wherever. Japan, China, wherever they could play basketball, make money, they'll do that. If it makes more sense to go overseas rather than the States, or if they want to do both, then it is what it is. I think Stephon Marbury did that in China. He could still play a little bit more in the NBA, but he was able to make more in China because of just who he is and his level of skill. Okay, so that's what that is. But this whole thing about race and the war propaganda, talking about she's a political prisoner, Vladimir Putin holding her hostage, political prisoner. She got caught with weed. Now, is she going to get let out? Will it be the full 10 years in the penitentiary? I'm not sure. Okay. Because, again, Russia is not just abandoning their laws because of the wartime effort. So part of law also may say Okay, talk to the U.S. Embassy, work something out, see what we can do. But ultimately, let it be a lesson. You can't just do whatever you want to do, wherever you want to do it. You want to bring drugs to a country where it's not legal to bring drugs to a country, then you may face their consequences. The same as it would be over here in the States. You wouldn't bring a suitcase full of heroin, suitcase full of weed, suitcase full of whatever kind of drug. That even if you have like, you got to declare certain kinds of alcohol. You can't just, as far as I know, but you can't just do whatever you want to do. Follow their rules or be punished. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the whole situation? Is Brittney Griner a political prisoner? Is she being held by Putin because of the Ukraine war? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is just a story of somebody bringing drugs on the plane. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she's trafficking. I have no idea. But regardless, it's just that. It's not anything about race or the war. It's just not that. Because I guarantee you, if anybody had the same thing that she had in her bag, it'd be the same response. Same thing over here in the States. You can't just do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, wherever you want to do it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.